Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so today I'm working on Nocturnal emissions and I got a problem. I got like 13 days left. 13 days, and I gotta wrap this bad boy up in 13 days, have everything uploaded and done in 13 days. And I've got 2 months worth of work ahead of me. I've noticed that it takes me a little bit longer because I've got a lot of detail to put in, and so what I need to do is overhaul my ending, or my climax rather, because all this is still just building up, stuff building up, but not closing. I need to close it. So after I finish with the way he treats other girls, I'm going to have to do another collage, and I have to combine different things together. I needed to escalate pretty freaking fast. So in the meantime, I'm going to show you what I had in mind, and then I'm going to have to find a way to condense all of this bad boy. So where were we? Okay, so let's see. These are like all my little work areas. Let me see if I can grab these guys and move them. So to do that, I hit select. Go ahead and select all these guys, and I'm going to move them out of the way. And these are just like little work areas. So I just click on one. Everybody else should kind of move together, and I'm just going to slide them down. And about right here is going to be fine. Okay, so for the pages that I have already done, or in the process of almost being done, this particular chapter, let's see, I would have, if I need to finish it, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages to finish that. 6, 7, 8 pages to finish that. 9, 10, 11. So I'd have like 11 pages to finish up chapter 3. I don't have time. I just don't have the time to finish up all 11 pages. I mean, on screen, I think I could whip out part of a page, even with, and I'd have to really just like put the bare color minimums on there. But once, like if I do this, I need to wrap it up, and I'll show you what I was doing here. So let's go ahead and start at the chapter. This is going to be part 2 of chapter 3, and oops, don't need to do that. Just go ahead and pop it open. Okay, so they find themselves at the Compass Rose. This is his new hangout, his new hunting grounds, and he knew that this place would be perfect. This would have been a scene where he's just kind of going over the place. I end up getting rid of this and doing this instead, just to kind of show what's going on. It's a place full of women, full of potential. And then he goes through his new norm, where he's basically hunting down a new chick, doing his thing, and then the new norm for them is that he's got a place where he takes them. He zooms in and he locates one, and one of the things I was thinking about doing was taking the person that he's laying the charm on, is what he's calling it, and maybe make her eyes kind of like white out, and then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's see. So here's his new hangout. It's designed for people who are loud, lovers who are loud, or people who sleep loud, things like that. So basically, him with getting his special room, And then, you know, the people talking about him, basically the concierge and a maid, the night maid, I guess you can call her, or the overnight person, and she's like commenting that, you know, every time he leaves the room it's trashed, but he leaves really crazy tips, so she doesn't complain. And then later on in the night, the girl he just picked up is like cowering in a corner, and she looks over her shoulder and she sees that hovering over Derek, who is grabbing parts of the panel like a blanket to cover himself in ecstasy. It's kind of hard to see at this angle, but this is what he looks like. And that's what the monster looks like. And the girl crawls to the door, and as she's reaching for it, she realizes it's not open. It's like, why is it not opening? And it's locked at the top there. And then just as she realizes that, she's getting pulled. And then he wakes up, and he notices that she's not there. I should have him wake up with the headphones on, because he gets up, goes to the mirror. She's trying to crawl out from underneath the bed. So this is like the entity's thing. It doesn't want to wake him up. So it takes the woman either in another area or under the bed, someplace where it won't bother him and wake him up. It's when he wakes up is when it dissipates. So he looks in the mirror, and he, I think over his shoulder, he sees the, you know, himself in the mirror with that thing on his head, and he's like, huh, the door's still locked. And then he happens to look over his shoulder after he's taken off the headphones, and he sees her coming out from underneath the bed. And he's like, okay, I gotta play this off. So he gets dressed, and as he's getting dressed, he's telling her, girl, you are wild. He's like putting on his shoes, and he's looking at her slowly crawling out from underneath the bed, not helping her or anything. And he's just carefree putting on his shoes, and then he steps over her, and he tells her checkout time is 11 a.m., and then he waves goodbye. And you can see her in the mirror looking up at him like, what the fuck? And then the next panel is basically her seeing him leave. She's finally up on her feet. And then she's finally dressed, and she's like, did that really happen? And it felt so real. And we see her back, and it's got like bruises all over it. And that would close that part out. He goes to work from there. And then he basically meets up with his boss. Boss says, you got a meeting. Are you ready for it? And then his co-worker, who he stole clients from, is telling him, you know, this is an important meeting. I had it scheduled, blah, blah, blah. And she's kind of blocking his way so he can't leave. She takes one of his flowers, and she's hitting him in the face with it, telling him, you know, get yourself together, blah, 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 stop looking online for girls or whatever. And then he starts to panic. He's like, crap, this is going to be a slow day at the club. I gotta do something. You know, I need some help now. I need a chick tonight. He needs to get a good night's sleep. So basically, he's looking online, setting it up so that he gets a call girl, and he needs to make sure that he gets a good 8 hours sleep, or else he's not going to be able to close his client. So he's got this handyman here who is at his house, and you know, he's put a time lock and a safe on his door, so that, you know, when the hooker gets there, she'll see that there's money in there, and she has a timer. She has to stay until that time is up. He's booked a lot of them in advance, and basically this is what he's been doing with them. But she's late, and he's pissed because he wanted to get a full 8 hours, and now he's gonna have to rush, and da da da. So he just gives her like a, you know, the icy talk. You're late. Mini fridge in the bathroom. Don't touch anything. You know, don't I should put including me. You know, and so he just rolls over, goes to sleep, and then in her little lace book, which is, you know, Facebook for call girls, um, and she's like, "Who puts a time lock on a bedroom door?" You know, and then other people are talking about that too. And then she notices that he rolls over and has a boner, and she just has to take a picture of it. So she looks at her phone, and she sees this monster. It's even bigger and it's different. Her little personal demon. So as it emanates from him, it's got like multiple eyes. It's like a almost spider-like in its appearance. It taps her on the ass. She turns around and there's that thing. Would have been awesome in color. Okay, so he wakes up the next day. He sees scratches on the door. It's ajar. The money's gone. Time is up, and he checks out the scratches, and he goes like, "Damn, she ruined my damn door." Okay, so that would have ended that chapter, and then after that, see, it doesn't look like I've gone that far. After that, I have him set up to where he meets Coffee, and that is his. She's pretty much the person who can withstand the nightmares. So he meets her in the arcade. He's got a new team, new office, new everything, and let's see. So basically I had made a whole arcade scene where he goes to the arcade, he meets her, beats her in a game, and or she beats him. Whatever it is, it's a win-win situation that just gets them to his house. And let's see. So this is back when I would use layers, so I would have to like separate all these layers in order to get them where I need to be, but at least they're, you know, 3-paneled. So for this particular scene, they're playing the video game, they're having fun, and it's getting late and it's time to go home. And she starts to flirt with him. He really enjoys her, and you know, really enjoy it more than he did any other lady. And you know, so they hit it off. Takes her to bed finally, or they have their intimate moment. And as they're sleeping, he notices that she's snoring, and she's snoring pretty loud. At this particular scene, and but they're able to sleep. And then he wakes up to his alarm, and she's not there. And he's like, "Damn, the monster got her again." No, it is what it is. And then he's like kind of disappointed, and then he's shocked when she hops onto his lap and goes, you know, just plops on and goes, "Hey." He's like, "You're still here?" And she's like, "Yeah, can I get that ride?" And then he throws his arms around her, and she goes, "Not that kind of ride." And you know, he asked her if she sleeps well. She's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then she asks him, you know, if he, you know, she makes a few stupid comments like he's got tryptophan in his dick or something like that. Anyway, she says he's hungry. She's hungry. How about you? He's like, "Yeah." And he's like kind of shocked. Now, there is a moment where she looks at the door because the door isn't fixed yet. She says, "I'll go make breakfast," and she sees the door. She sees scratch marks, and she's like, "Dog?" He goes, "Oh shit, the door." You know, and then she's like, looks over her shoulder, says, "Looks like your dog escaped." You know, because he's got a time lock and whatnot. You know, maybe it lets the dog out. And she says, "Your dog escaped." And he goes, "Dog, yeah, dog sat. She scratched her way out the house weeks ago, tore up everything." He's like, "Oh crap, think quick. Think quick." He said, "That bitch, damn, damn, damn." But no, she goes, that bitch, calling his dog a bitch. Anyway, so she leaves and goes and she says, well, I'll be back. And then he's like, whew, thinks he's gotten over. And he says things were great until she had to go out to sea. Shit. So they hit it off really well. She became his regular. Then she had to go out to sea. You know. And then after a while, he's like, I miss her. You know, her snoring ass. And then he meets up with his friend at the sports bar. We'll say she had already left. And on their like 6 month cruise or something like that. Okay, so this is him and FBI. I had moved that up. Let's see. So he filled him in on coffee, and he notices that he's doing okay. So he says, figures she wasn't really your type. You know, saying that, you know, he's like, so are you serious? Is coffee chick the one, the one ring, you know, the one to rule them all? And he's like, nah, no rings on these fingers, bro. And then he says something like, figures she really wasn't your type. And then he says, so you're cured now, no more nightmares or crabs? He goes, yeah, and fuck you. So he decides to kind of take on two at once. He's got like two girls here, and then that are coming on to him. And then his friend tells him, you are such a simple creature. So he goes off with these girls, and let's see. There was a massive thing that happens. Let's see, he's got those rooms. Okay, so he goes off with these two girls, and where is the... I have a picture of him with the girls. Here we go. So he takes them to his hotel room, and he starts to get a boner in the middle of the night, and the monsters just come out from everywhere, and you see pretty much them appear massive in the mirror. And then they just pretty much tear up this room. And the one girl disappears, and he finds the other underneath the bed. Let's see, here we go. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of out of order. But basically that's what happens. He used the biggest tip ever. The room's like a complete shambles. There's blood on the floor. One girl, yeah, he finds one girl underneath the bed, and she keeps saying it took her, and then she kind of focuses on him, like her eyes are like up here, and then she looks forward, and then she looks at him, and she screams. He falls back, bumps his head against the nightstand, and kind of passes out again. When he wakes up, she's gone, and you know, so he's kind of like a mess. He gets himself up and he goes to work, you know, and he gets a promotion. And then all hell breaks loose from there. Yeah, I have all that stuff I need to tell and within 11 days, and I can't do it. I know I can't do it. So he's freaking out. He's in his new office, and he's freaking out, and he's tired. You know, it's just like something's not right. So he's late for a meeting. He gets his co-worker who's like thinking this should have been my office. Pretty much comes to get him, and he starts to you know, go to the meeting. He starts to nod off during the meeting. The entity's putting them to sleep. And she's telling him to stay awake, and she's looking at him. he starts to, the entity starts to appear as he's nodding off again, and his boss rolls up and bumps his chair, and it wakes him up. And his coworker sees it. Look at this really crazy face. His coworker sees it, and she's like, "What the fuck did I just see?" You know. And so he finally just like conks out again, while his coworker goes to the bathroom, or his boss goes to the bathroom, and she looks at him thinking she's going to try to wake him up, and then she looks down and says, "Does he have a boner?" She says this out loud in front of his other co-workers, and they're laughing, kikikiing, and next thing you know, the entity appears, and it just goes ham on this entire uh, office scene. He comes to when it starts to mess with him, and like the table's upended, people are in pieces on the ground, moaning or dead, and then a body's underneath the table, and just it's pure chaos. And only thing that keeps him from getting arrested is that he's got some injuries too. They're not as major as everybody else, but he's got some injuries and bruises and blood on him. So his his boss comes back in his wheelchair, and he's like, Derek's trying to administer CPR, and he's like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and then he yells, "Call 911," and his boss just does like a cartoon riding off to go get help. Later, the cops arrive, and they're trying to comfort people and take people away. And his coworker had her arm almost ripped off, and she's bleeding, and she's grabbing him by the tie, and she's blaming him, and they're trying to restrain her. "It came from you. It's all your fault. La 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 la. I knew you were freaking weird," or whatever. So boss is like, "What was that about?" He's like, "I don't know." So they think a maniac came into the office and just did something to the place. So anyway, Derek, in the meantime, on the ship, let's see, coffee, and I hope I get to show this. Okay, so in the you know what? I think I'm just gonna have to simplify every fucking thing. Just do basic shading and stuff like that. Do my artwork and just keep it simple. I think that's what slows me down the most, is all that freaking detail. Okay, so she's on the ship. She's on the Nimitz, and which was my old ship when I was in the Navy, and they're having a stand down. They're going to California to pick up the air wing, which is basically where all the planes come from. We don't keep planes on the ship when we go out to sea. So they're going to California to pick up the air wing, and before they do that, they'll do workups, so it's pretty much working up towards going out to sea, testing out the ship, making sure everybody's battle ready or emergency ready, things like that. And they're taking a little bit longer. The captain has some disturbing news, and he's about to administer that. They have a condom jar. Someone went through and poked a hole in all the condoms, and it's like a Cookie Monster. C is for condoms. Take all you need. Use all you can take. And I modeled the captain after Maverick. So he's got like Tom Cruise's Maverick outfit jacket on, and then I got Iceman as his XO, and he's still wearing his flight suit and looking old. I love Val Kilmer. And he's holding the cookie jar, or the condom jar. And I'm like, I was really proud of myself with this Cookie Monster. I kicked ass in it. This is why I should have done it in color. So basically, he's telling everybody you need to get your ass to medical. If you used a condom from this jar, you just reach into Cookie Monster's mouth and pull out your condom. Um, all of them have a hole in them. So they got some splaining to do. Um, so in the meantime, uh, our girl decides that she's going to go to medical. She's got to go. And this is on the hangar deck. So she's like, oh shit, I use those condoms. I use a lot of those condoms. And her friend is like, man, well, shit. She's like, I gotta go to medical. So she goes to medical, and she's standing here. She's looking out over the horizon, and she's kind of got tears in her eyes. So you kind of know that something's not quite right. So she talks to her friend and tells her friend that she had been standing in line trying to get to the phones, because you've got 3 sets of phones that can somehow reach out to the mainland, and you've got 1,500 people on as ship's company, and half of them are using the phones. So she never gets through, and even when she did get through to use the phone, he's not picking up. Well, we know he's not picking up because of what happened at that meeting. Shit just hit the fan. So, okay, so she's trying to reach him. He can't reach her. And he calls his friend, and he's like, I need coffee now. So this is the climax. This is what I mean for to happen. And his friend tells him, I know shit has gone down on, what happened. He tells him what happens. He's like, and he tells him that he needs coffee. She's the one that can help me with this. She's the one that was suppressing the nightmares and stuff. And I don't think I saw the scene. He was able to get a good night's sleep without her until he changed the sheets. He thought, oh well, she's gone, let me just wash these, and found a pair of her underwear, and he throws those away. It's over between them, type of thing. He's thinking that, because he usually ghosts people afterwards. And that's when when the entity is just like, all right, let's do this. So now the entity's got like superpowers. It's been suppressed for so long. It's like, I gotta put this fool to sleep so I can do my thing. So anyway, his friend tells him, go meet her in San Diego. They are probably not there yet. Just go. So he tries to catch a plane. Let's see, do I show any of that? Okay, so before he leaves, he tells his boss, hey, I'm leaving. Do you mind if I take a few days off? Boss is okay. In the meantime, the boss, who okayed that it's okay for him to go, had cops in the office with him. So the cops are thinking, oh shit, he did it. Let's keep an eye on him. And so he decides to take a plane. I think let's see. So, okay, so, like his boss was telling him to take a few days off, whatever, and he's like, yeah, I think I'll take you up on that. I'm gonna take that vacation. Boss okays it. And in the meantime, boss says, okay, get some rest, and keep your phone on you. Call me if you need me, type of thing. And like, all right. Now on the other end of the door, because he only just pops his head in, there's 2 cops taking statements and stuff. He says, do you know where in San Diego he's going? So the cops are kind of like on to him. He's already got an Uber waiting for him to take him to the airport. He gets lucky, and there's a flight that's like right there that's ready to go. He tries to call Coffee, can't reach her. Um, so the police are at the airport, and they're trying to keep an eye on what flight he takes. Um, and somehow he gets past them. He's on the airplane. He starts to nod off on the airplane. And it's not until the airplane's going into a nosedive and something hits him on the head that wakes him up, and then the plane rights itself. Everybody's like, oh my god, oh shit, we're gonna die. And so everybody's kind of trying to calm down. And this one person goes off on a lady with a kid, and he's like, I'll switch places with you. And the person gladly jumps up, and he goes and sits next to the screaming kid, who screams the entire time, which keeps him awake. It's like music to his ears. Yeah, so he says that. He's like, and Mother's apologizing, I am so sorry. And he's like, oh, it's okay, it's music to my ears. And then the kid kicks him in the head. So it's like, yeah, he's not going to go to sleep. So the plane, thinking that it has problems, lands in a different area before it hits California. So he's got to make a mad dash to California. And he calls his friend again to find out what base that she's at, because he just took off, and he's like, just found out there's multiple bases. And then he asks him, which one do you think the Newmans is going to pull into? He says Coronado is the only one that could handle that size of a ship. And Bryce is like, let's see. Bryce was going to do something for him, but he cuts him off. I can't remember what it was. He says, my buddy says that they just arrived. You wouldn't believe this, but... And this is Bryce trying to talk to him. And he's like, hey, I am going to try coffee. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bud. And he hangs up on him. He was trying to tell him something, like that maybe she was going to try to reach you. He's like, you won't believe this, but he was going to tell him what happened on the ship, that somebody had, poked holes in the condoms. So he's like, he cuts him off before he can even tell him. So he's going to be heading to California. The cops think he's already in San Diego, or thinking he's, so they miss his flight completely. They miss him completely. They're sitting in the airport in San Diego, and he's nowhere near there. Okay, so he arrives in Coronado. Like, how am I gonna draw all this shit? There's no freaking way. I can try, but it's not gonna work. Okay, so he arrives in Coronado Naval Air Station, North Island, and he goes to check-in. It's in a restricted area. He goes to a visitor check-in, and because the ship is, and that's supposed to be the ship at the dock, and this is the big gate. I don't know if they've changed it since then with all the stuff that's happened with whatnot. But anyway, so he sits in the check-in, and it's just a shack outside. And they have to send a runner to the ship. The ship is fucking huge, but there's only one. So she has a couple of different places she could possibly be. Chow hall, her berthing unit where they sleep, or at work. Pretty much. If she's a smoker, she'd be in the smoking pit. If she's trying to get to the phone, she'd probably be on the phone. But he gets to her female berthing, and they got to go through their motions of finding, it takes a while. So as he's waiting and almost nodding off, cops arrive. And just before he falls asleep, there's a shit ton of cops outside. And the person on watch says she's on her way. And she's coming, so he kind of wakes him out of that stupor. And he wants to wait outside. He's like, the watch person says, I gotta call this in. There's a shit ton of cops out there. And the cops are like, no, he may hear. We don't want him to run. It's like, he's like telling the guy, cool, I'll wait outside. In the meantime, the cops are surrounding the shack. He steps outside and there's like cops just pounce on him. So just as she's coming down the ship, from the ship, 10 minutes later, you know, the cops are already pulling away. He's already been loaded in the back of the cop car. And they're wondering, what the hell's going on down there? So he's at the police station, and they're trying to interrogate him. You know, and he tries to tell them maybe it's monsters or something, like, you know, just doing the good cop, bad cop thing, all that crap. And they're asking, why'd you leave? You know, why'd you hurt the people? You know, just trying to mess with them. And then they get a person come in and say that the FBI says they're going to take over. So the cops leave him in the room that somebody died, and now it's a homicide. And they're arresting him. You have the right to remain silent. So they take him to a jail, and he realizes, I can't sleep, I cannot sleep, and he's falling asleep. Next thing you know, he's asleep, and yeah, he's surrounded by crazy people, you know, and people are noticing that he's asleep, and they're like, they're talking about it. It's like, good thing he's sleeping. I heard it was a murder, you know, things like that. You know, and then they see him with a heart on and they're laughing. And then the entity just, like, goes ham on them. You know, he's asleep. And when he wakes up, you know, and he's kind of refreshed, I guess. He wakes up and there's nobody there. Place is in disarray. It's completely trashed. And he's like, where is everyone? The door's off the hinges. He steps over the door. He's walking down the corridor. And the place is completely and utterly vacant and trashed. Okay, and then he finds, let's see, so he goes to the property area. He's got to find his wallet and his cell phone and stuff. And he gets a call. He hears a phone ringing, his phone ringing, and you know, he's got like a little icon of a black cup of coffee. And then it's her, and she's like, please pick up, gotta try one last time. And he's like, coffee? And she's crying, and they're both crying. It's like, oh, thank God, they both say. And then that ends that scene. And then I go on to the very end. I don't know how I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. I'm gonna try though. I just probably won't be able to put all the detail into it. Okay, so basically at Quantico, his friend is giving a TED Talk. His friend in the FBI is giving a TED Talk, and he says, okay, so we'll start at the top here. He's at Quantico. It says, this weapon works by using the evil and nightmares of our targets. Bioweapon-S. When weapon is full of horrors, quote unquote, he will subconsciously unleash them on others, usually during a wet dream. We removed all law enforcement and used death row criminals. Shows jail cell footage. As you can see, they consumed 50 targets in a matter of hours. Let's see. It began as psychological mental attack, sleep deprivation on target, We observed from a photograph. There's the target and numerous other devices. They would watch him. My team and I planted hidden cameras and microphones in weapons residence. Frequented agents in hotels. We covered up the damage, of course. Even the interrogators were ours. He didn't talk. So basically, he just plugged in a whole bunch of his people everywhere. He used them as the concierge. He used them as the maid. He used them they were in cameras behind pictures, things like that. So he was watching him the entire time. This is Bryce here. Bryce is telling everything. He's like, we got everything to the point where the harvested entity would attack. Kudos to our men in orange for suppressing these something from going viral. The the men in orange. The men in orange are the people who kept the pictures from going viral from the selfies rather. That's what this word was supposed to be, selfies from going viral on Lacebook and Fritter and Outstanding Work Ladies. And so we had we'll have some women there, or I should put quote unquote men in orange, so instead of men in black. So women in orange, I suppose. Anyway, orange is the new black, get it? Anyway, but they didn't anticipate on this woman. She suppressed the nightmare, so you have a picture of coffee. And then her name is Ebony Coffee. I gotta change the spelling. But anyway, she was, they needed to control the emissions using the subject to feed the emissions, or he would turn on the weapon himself. So that's where Coffee came in. She was unknowing about it, but he figured that, since she's in the military, they could manipulate things in order to get to her. So something about her would suppress the emissions. Even traces of her DNA kept the monsters at bay. So her DNA on the sheet, the DNA, he found a pair of her underwear under a pillow. And that kept the monsters away until he washed the blankets and threw away her underwear. We ran into a snag. She was a sailor about to go out to sea. There we go. So anyway, basically, he just is behind everything. And then he talks about how he got them to an area where he can watch them, which is basically their witness protection. And she's pregnant. They had a baby. He got her out of the military due to the pregnancy, and then people are like, then what happened? It's like nothing. All of a sudden it all stopped. Poof. No more emissions. Everything was gone. As soon as the baby was born, it stopped, and they all just laugh. So I need to be able to tell all that, and I am so damn frustrated because I got to figure out a way to do it in 11 days. I got all my thumbnails, I just don't have the time to do them. So I need to condense. I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to think of how I can overhaul. My daughter was telling me that it wasn't scary enough, and that this isn't supposed to be hardcore scary. I mean, yeah, the monsters are pretty icky, but she says it reads more like a narrative rather than a horror story. I'm like, this is pretty horrifying to me. Um, like, there's no jump scares, there's none of that. Not really. Jump scares suck. So, let's see. I think what I can do, just keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing, figure out where I left off, and just keep going. I just won't be able to put the same amount of detail into it, so I have to time myself maybe. Let's see, all that's down at the bottom. So let's see. Now this was something I just wanted to show my daughter about where I was so far in the story. So let me select that and delete it so I don't accidentally upload that. Okay, so it's like it's not necessary to show this because we know that he's in the room, so I can bypass this, but yeah, I can bypass these two. But I don't, it's like I don't want to though. Let me see, how do I do this? Okay, so one thing I could do is do another montage where he puts the whammy on chicks and she's always in, oops, and she's always in the background, but he never goes to her. And I could make it so that the entity keeps seeing her, but hits every woman but her, kind of like guiding him. Let's see, bring this one up a little bit. Trying to think, how should I do that? So I like the story the way it is. So I think if I just keep going and just do the minimum. Okay, so there we go. There's that. With my prize secured, I take her back to my lair for this entity to reward. Damn, I don't want to retype that. To reward me for my services. Here's my lair where I bring my kill. I set up a regular suite. It's close enough to work that I can head off pretty quickly. Okay, so that's it with this one. So let me see. How long would it take for me to do these? Let's see. Do I have a Derek picture already that I can use? Like a good portion of it is already done. Let's see. Let's see. I should have did all the, let's see. I like that one. Okay, let's do this. We'll grab the, oops. I gotta remember when to go back to freehand and, okay. Then go to copy. Okay. I might have enough recycled pictures that I don't have to do too much drawing. Let me go paste, add, paste. So I just put that one right there. And I'm going to drop this down a bit. Now, if anything, I need to come up with okay, so I got him there. I need to come up with who the concierge and the night maid are. Let's see, about right there. All right. And we'll put her little head thingies on him. La 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 la. Let's see. I mean, it's a good thing that some of this is already done, but the climax is definitely not done. Oh, I should have moved everybody down. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Now, there was a whole nother story that I was working on before this, but I got stuck, and it looked like it would have been a good story. Let me see. There they are. Okay. Was it under character roughs 2? Hands, buildings. Crap. I think, was it under here? Nope. This is Bryce. I don't think she's under this one. This is all buildings. What I'm looking for is this one, where I made roughs of our girl. There we go. Our victim. Okay, and a 3-finger swipe. Copy. And go to gallery. And then we'll paste it. Flip it horizontal. And we'll just kind of warp it, or distort it rather. And we'll put it behind his head. Well, actually, I'll just move it this way. Put it behind his head. About right there-ish. So basically how I color is expose the exposed skin. Give it a base tone. Let's see, we'll give that. This needs to be beneath him. This one needs to be above him. There we go. And then she'll have her hair loose. We gotta give her skin tone too. We'll put it all on the same layer for now, and then we'll merge them down. Move this one up. Okay, we'll give her her own. Just gotta keep remembering that I only have a certain amount of layers to play with. Yeah, I tried to work on this last night, and when I got off work, and I was just way too tired. Okay, we'll merge that together. There we go, and we'll just bring her like about right here. Oh, before I do her hair, let's see if we can do this. She needs to be above him. There we go. And then we'll put his croc jacket on him. And in this picture, I believe, he's waving to the concierge. Okay, let's see. I think that's why his hand was up. Okay. Yeah, some of these are like the bomb. This is my favorite texture. Look at how beautiful that is. Okay, so let's see, and for his shirt, oops. Let's see, I have a new something that kind of looks masculine. I like this one. Do this over. Oops. Okay, so after this chapter, I think what I'll end up doing is condensing the climax, if I can, or just stay simple. Let me bring this down. just gotta work faster. Okay, so she was let's see. There we go. Oops. Put her back in black. So being black and white helps speed things up, but it's when I start to do the detail, I think that's what slows me down the most. Scales. Okay. And they both kind of use the same brush for the hair. I wanted to do the face before I did the hair, but I can wait. I love this brush. So either this is going to make me faster, or I'm just going to have to really condense. Let's see, it's 4:53 right now. It's really slow at work because of the virus. You know, not everything is opened yet, but I don't want to draw at work, you know, because when I'm at work, they're paying me to work, not paying me to work on my personal project. I mean, I could ask. I should bring his headphones down, or her headphones down more. Let's see. But he's talking, so. There we go. I wonder if it'll let me kick it out a little bit. There we go. I mean, I've already condensed a lot by not showing the sex or the nightmares themselves that they can't remember. Okay, and his hair. I'm gonna see, because the time has passed a little bit, we'll make his hair a little long. Well, no, because his hair is short than some of the other ones. So we'll keep it the same. It's only longer in the front. And it's short in the back. So party in the front, short in the back. Okay. So I need a soft brush and a hard brush. La, 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 la. I want somebody famous to be the concierge. Somebody that we'd recognize. But then again, I don't have time to play, so let's see. I'm opening up my source images so I can make sure I color them properly. I'm thinking that it'll be an overhead light. Let me merge these layers so I have plenty of layers to play with. Let's see. What else do I need? Alright. So let's do the anime shading type of thing. On this particular layer. That's the linear burn. And we'll drop it down to about usually about 15, but we'll do 18. We'll go a little bit. I'm trying to decide, do I want to go darker? Nah. Let's see, we'll do it at about 14. Okay. So this might not be a bad way to kill it off. Hold that down. And I learned this from White Manga, WHYT Manga. He's the creator of Apple Black, and ever since I saw him use this technique, I've used it in my colorings. If I need to give myself like a hard shadow, it works pretty well. But I take it a step further and I soften the edges sometimes, depending on the image. La, 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 la. Oh, for once, my, what is this called? Google Drive is not acting up. It opened up without any issues, and it's been giving me issues ever since I started doing these. Let's see, I have a picture of him smiling, and what I'm doing is I'm using source images. I've chosen like different actors and actresses, and I just collected a shit ton of images from them. There we go. And this will help with I mean, it doesn't look too bad with the flat shading, but I just want a little bit of tones in between to give them a little bit of depth. Using the, let me get off of this layer. Now, using the selection tool will help keep your image cleaner. If you gotta drop color down, get on his layer. Okay, we're almost there. Oops. No, your ass. And also using different brushes also helps too. So like if things are too smooth looking, like right now it's really smooth looking, I'm going to use in the shadows. This one comes with Procreate, the rough skin. I'm going to use that there, and then to blend or to soften it, I'm going to use the soft brush. So we give them scaly skin and then dial it back. And we'll drop this down a little bit so it's not like in your face, scaly. And it kind of breaks up the, make sure that we're on their layer. Let me see if it does it here. Not really, but it is helping me to soften some of these edges. There we go. Now the tool that I'm using is the Smudge Tool, and it moves color around. So like you go into a shadow like this right here underneath his nose, and you move from the shadow out, it'll move the shadow tone outwards, depending on your strength. Right now I've got it like at low strength, but if I want to move it hardcore, just move this up and down. Up here is like hardcore strength, and it moves those tones around. Let me get off that layer. Okay, I'll do the tip of his nose real quick. And the typical shadow areas, which is like here for him. And then kind of soften it, because I don't want all of the texture to go away. I just want it to be subtle. Okay, now you got eye bags. Bring that down a little bit. Bring this down a little bit, and that's the size of the brush. Let's see, I need to give the concierge a name. Sometimes I use the hairbrush, you know, if I'm doing detailed lips. Not necessary though. Bring that down, the soft brush. No, not the soft brush, it was the, oh, crap. Okay, no, I don't need to just double on this one. But, you know, it is after work, so let's make it look a little rugged. Because I'm a dude. Okay, and then here's the rough skin. Now, some of the things that I'm going to have to do, if I want to keep them, I'm going to do them in retrospect type of thing. So, I don't know, maybe instead of it being retrospect, maybe it'll be Bryce telling the story. I don't know. There's a woman that he was in a pinch after Coffee leaves, and he was hoping that she could withstand the entity because she's like a Marine, real tough chick, real assertive in bed type of girl, and the entity, she gets into a knockdown, drag out fight with the entity. I gotta want to show that. I gotta show that. I don't have a hair on my hoo-hoo if I don't show that. That's the only chick that ever fought back, or ever had to fight back. You know. And I think I can use it in retrospect. That way it doesn't go to waste. Okay, so now I just need maybe some highlights. Let me do, we're a happy guy. Okay, let's do some highlights and then we'll move on to her. Wow, this is down and dirty. Okay. She doesn't look too bad. Okay. La 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 la. Now it's giving me grief. This is what it does to me. Let me see. See, this is what I use for source images, and then it gives me this crap where it says it can't load the file. And I'm like, really? Really, bitch? You can't load the file? I have no other problems anywhere else but on my computer with this. And I don't know why. The only way I can kind of get over it is by clicking on a picture or something like that, so that I guess it gives it a chance to load. I have no freaking clue. Just giving her some color in her face. And then we'll just soften it up. Oops, too soft. Bring that down a little bit more. And what it does is that not only does it give it kind of like a skin texture, it breaks up the tones. So I don't have to work as hard when it comes to adding a little bit of tone into areas. See, it's got like black and white and gray. It's more natural than just having one smooth tone. Very subtle. It's even better if you use another skin tone to smooth it out. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to use this soft brush. Make a good time on this. Now I just need a face or an inspiration for the concierge. Or I could do that later and just focus on the faces that I do have. And to get that depth, you can always use your techniques for making a sphere. Spheres, they have the highlight, and then opposite the highlight would be where the crest of the darkest shadow is, and then it starts to get lighter, and that gives you that illusion that it's round. And you can get away with that on faces. Like this chin right here. We'll say darkest shadows down here. And then it gets lighter, but not white. And then right above it, we want to blend towards the light. And then we'll throw that highlight on there because that's where the light is hitting it the hardest. The planes of your face change when you smile. Let's see, here we go. Alrighty. Now for people with light colored eyes, I like to use the fine hair brush and bring that down like small and just kind of do the cones, the rods and the cones in their eyes. I like using a little squiggle when I go around in a semicircle. And bring that up. And then I would vary my pressures and stuff like that. Okay, and then to do like individual eyelashes, I use the soft brush and I bring it all the way down to one. Oops. And just do gentle arcs. Or if I need to give it like a lot of hair, I I can use the soft hair brush again, and then just define it with the other brush. Let me bring this up a little bit. Alright, I don't like the hard lines. I need to get used to that. So what I do is I'll take the soft brush and get it to where it kind of is soft but not too soft. I just come around the edges and I blend inwards so like the color stays like on the lips. So like I got my smudge tool and I'm going to bring that down and just kind of obliterate the hardness of this line, and maybe even throw in a highlight or two. And to separate it from the gums, I would kind of keep the dark there, so that you know the difference between the lip and the gums. And maybe if it's very pronounced and she's really close, then I maybe throw in a highlight, because you know your teeth are wet. And then on the very bottoms or whatnot, you get away with, especially if you made it all one tone, you can add a little bit of white to the teeth. You don't want to put too much detail into the teeth, because then it starts to look like they've got holes and cavities and things. You don't want to overwork your teeth. You know, just kind of give it a little bit of attention and then let it go. Let's see. I'm going to give her nose just a little bit of tone. It's pretty bright right now. I'm going to change this to that skin. I want it visible, but not too visible. There it goes, like really super subtle. I could go a little darker. Bring this up a bit. And that'll help my any highlights stick out. Because if you have a shadow, you should have a corresponding highlight. I'll make this smaller. And the highlight is always opposite the shadow. Bring this up. Just need to connect my shadow to the thing it's casting here. We'll merge this down, make it easier to blend. Soften that. make sure that you zoom out every now and then as well. Make sure everything's blending together and coming together. Okay. I'll leave that hard shadow. Okay, so if the light is kind of coming from above, I'm going to kind of blend this a little bit. Use a bit of the hair. Okay, and I can get away with doing a little bit more tone on his neck, and then we'll move on. Okay, just turn it down and dirty. Okay, need another layer. Oops. Should I call it? I should go into my oops. I forget. Okay. What shall we say? I'll probably throw a hand up for greeting. Or have, I don't know, something looks weird. Maybe I need to add a little bit of more. Oh, okay, I'm not going to sweat it because I don't have time. We need to add text. Let's see, I need a name. Name. Let me see. I'm going to my7sanctum.com and grab a name. Quick name generator. Yeah, if you ever need like a quick name generator or just all kinds of resources if you're writing, Let's see, I'm going to choose one name, and that's it. Ernestine Juarez. We'll do Juarez, Juarez. Now, because usually they have their first name on there, right? So we'll call her Ernie. It's a stupid question. How about, how are you? He's not a complete dick. There we go. Okay, so now we need an Ernie. All right, let's see. Oops. I'm trying to remember what I used for the lodge. What font I used. Okay. I think I know. We'll have that behind her. Oops. If you suck like I do at backgrounds, and this will save your hide using the select tool, and let's see. Use black, add text. Whoops. Oh, to get caps, you hold down the up sign over the question mark 1, 2, 3. Just hold that down, and you'll get all caps. Okay, select that. You can either triple tap or just hit select all. We'll edit the style. I think that one is pretty close. Well, we'll use Georgia. Just put that here. Oops. This line here. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll select it. Hopefully I'm on the right layer. Yep. And then I can just make that bigger. I can use freeform. And I think, I wonder if it'll let me recolor it. We'll make it a darker gray. And then this one, make white. And we'll just kind of offset it a bit. Add text. Make it a little smaller. Hold down the key again. There we go. Merge that together. I don't know what layer that is. Okay, that's on this layer. Alright, so I need the lady to hand him his VIP card. Let's see. I think I've got that already. We're going to put her over that. Try to decide, do I want it to be smaller? I'll just put that behind her, and about, and off to the side. Okay, so right there. Aha. Now, because I'm giving her the make her, I'm trying to decide if she's FBI. I'm going to turn that off for the moment. I'm trying to think. I want to put her, I'm trying to think, who should I use? Because I want to use her again. Someone famous that I can model her after. Now, drawing from your mind is different from drawing from reference, because reference is much more accurate, and if you're kind of starting out and you're not really sure, you kind of do representations of item. Let me see. I'm going to try to draw one lady from my mind. I'm going to use my soft brush. I'm going to bring it down to about maybe here. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and give her the pose. So if you're still studying anatomy, let's see, that won't be under, the other fingers will be underneath. Yeah, if you're still studying anatomy, it's good that you use reference pictures. Like me, I'm still studying, but I wanted to try to show that, you know, what it would be to draw from your mind. I've drawn a lot of colored necks here. And you would draw symbols of what you think an eye would look like. It may look moderately realistic, or it might not. More than likely it won't, because realism has its own quirks and whatnot. And if you draw from your mind a lot, you may not vary up your people. You may end up with the same kind of face. This isn't looking too bad. So right now I'm trying to rely on some of the things that I've been drawing before. And just trying to remember my techniques here. Nose is in between the two eyes. Now, I don't have confidence of line. That's why my lines are pretty shaky. So let's work on that. Usually I would like to put my lines on another layer and then just delete that layer when I was done, instead of going through and erasing as I go. I can wing it. Eyes have bags. Alright, no idea. Yeah, it'll do. It'll do, pig, it'll do. Not bad. Okay. Do. And we'll give her just a ponytail or something. You know what? I'm gonna go on Pinterest and find the first face with the hairstyle I see, and I'm gonna use that hairstyle. Let's do that. This is somebody who's, this is the first hairstyle I saw. This lady right here. So I'm going to use that hairstyle. I was going to use a ponytail, but I'm like, this is kind of cute. Oh no, she disappeared. Let's see. Damn, it's gone. Damn you, Pinterest. Damn. That's alright. I still remember it. Kinda. We'll wing it. She had, we'll bring that up. Okay, so the brush that I'm using is the short hair brush. It's a very creepy bob, kind of like a Cinderella. But it'll get the job done. Now, if you're doing hair that's close to the face and is in the back, that's usually pretty dark. And then the hair in the front is lighter. And where it curves, I'll like maybe add a few more strokes to give it like more of a dense tone, and then kind of ease into where the highlights are. You know, it'd be funny if I gave her like Sesame Street hair, like Ernie. I was thinking about giving her a thought balloon where it says something like, I hate when people call me Ernie. My name is Ernestine Asshole. She's got that kind of look about her. Yeah, this brush will change your religion. It's pretty freaking awesome. The brushes in Procreate here, the hair brushes rather. I like it. You can get hair done quick. And I'm just going to add some just random strands. Now I've got this line behind it. I'm going to see if, because I'm always breaking borders like a doo-doo. Wait. Let's see. Lodge. Gotta turn that back on. Well, one thing I could do is I could move the lodge off to the side and make it smaller. Or I could try to color her in. Make sure I'm on the right layer, and then move it. We'll move it this way. I do like it when it's big though. Because I think I'd want to position it so like when a person is greeting a customer, the logo is always like front and center. So if you ever have this problem where you've got something overlapping, if you don't want to erase it, because maybe you might use it again somewhere, go ahead and create a layer to separate them. Get the soft hair brush or soft brush or whatever brush, or whoops, and just all the areas where you want to, you know, kind of cover up these little mistakes here. And it just kind of fills it in. All right, yeah, she looks kind of wicked. I like that the darker eyes. Like she gets no sleep. Like I fucking hate this shift. See, the cool thing about this is you can pencil in people's thoughts. It's like I fucking hate this shift. I can't wait to quit. Okay, her eyes are way too small to use this brush. Maybe not. Looks like I'm getting away with it. Okay. Now I can also merge these layers together, and hopefully it accomplishes the same thing. Yep. And what I'll do is, because she's already filled in, I'll have to do it on top. Okay, no worries. Now the cool thing about Procreate is when you drop color in, it respects that there's stuff underneath most of the time, unless you physically color over it. So like if I'm going to give her a skin tone, it respects that there's stuff there. Let's see, we'll give her a lighter tone. There we go. You know, I don't have enough diversity in my my story here. So I think what I'll do is I'll make this person a little bit more diverse. Let's see, let me see, what I give the name. Okay, I left him at Ernie. Ernie's looking kind of rough tonight. Nah, I'll just leave it alone. Just get through it. We'll play with ethnicities and diversities, and because I was going to make Ernie into one of those, not one of those, into a person with a different gender or non-binary type of thing. So don't you assume that I'm this, that, or the other. But, you know, we're here to serve. It's not about me, it's about the guests. It's not about me, it's about the guests. You know, so Ernie might have a bit of an Adam's apple. And no, I'm not going to put the 5 o'clock shadow in. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have time to give character development or anything like that. Because I would love to have more where it's like, oh, you have a very deep voice, Ernie. Let's just keep it simple. Still keeping the Adam's apple though. You know, I was on one artist's site. This person is transgender, and black, and didn't feel like they were part of any kind of community because of, you know, not feeling welcome. So for that particular person, you know, she feels that a sister like her is not welcome, and I'm like, oh, you'd be welcome here, darling. Especially since you tried to redo those. Ooh, I wonder. No, we gotta keep it tasteful. Let's see. Yeah, she listens to commentary from other black YouTubers, and knows that they wouldn't approve of people like her. And I'm like, man, that's kind of sad. You just don't feel included anywhere, you know, but wow. Or represented. So I'm like, let's not make an issue of this. Let's just make a or make a character here that's ambiguous. Why not? I don't know. Passing? I don't know. Okay, so Ernie. It's a cute name. The Lodge. I'm trying to think what kind of uniform they would have. Now, a lot of places that I look at, they all are wearing solid colors. I'd say let's see, I could either do like a lumberjack type of print. We'll keep with the solid color. It's going to be black and white anyway. Let's see, do I have a texture that would look interesting? Just real quick. There's the Argyle, but no. I want people to feel comfortable. Don't want them to wear wood print or croc. Maybe a simple, yeah, I guess a simple tone would have to do. Nobody wears dragon. Well, yeah. We'll use a simple texture. Chambray. Oh, that's boring. We'll just drop it a color. We'll use everything here. Maybe if I do a tie. See, I'll take this and then I'll just make it, ew, that's ugly. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and give it a tone or two. I should give her a tie. Or give them a tie, that's what I should call it. Let's see. Let's see. See, a friend of mine that used to work at a restaurant. They had her. It was a really upscale restaurant. They would have her wearing ties. She looked good in them. It's really classy. Let's see, Derek is wearing, let's see, so, okay, so the texture that he's wearing is, I don't want to use the same one he's wearing. I'm going to try this brush. Make it darker. I don't know if I want to do a hard line like that. Okay, I'll do a hard line anyway. No, that's too hard. Maybe a thinner, where it's more subtle. Just keep the wrinkles down. Oops. And then we'll just kind of smudge. And for this one here, oops. Oops. Need a tone. Okay, I'm spending a little bit too much time here. Okay. And I think I'll use the same text as we'll kind of warp it a bit. Oops, not like that. We'll distort it. Okay. Sweet. Good enough for government work. Lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to throw a few shadows. Oops. You know, I could do the Night Maid as a person also transitioning and definitely not passing. Not yet. Which is probably why they put her on at night. And these the tips that our guy leaves will have that like helping with her medication, or let's see. Go overboard here. And I'll just do the same thing. Turn this into a linear burn and then drop it down to about 15. And then I'll just soften up these edges. And I also use this layer for like just to get a little bit darker in some places. And just kind of do it subtle. A little bit more depth. Face is a little off, but we'll work with it. Okay, a little bit of highlights and then we'll move on to the next thing. So you'd think at this pace, I should be able to whip things out. Maybe if I increase it just a bit. Oh, I gotta get off this layer in order to do the highlights. I'm gonna merge these guys together. There's the highlights. And then we'll just kind of blend. Give her a little bit more of a manly look. Oops, not like that though. Just want to make her eyebrows just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. And we'll throw one more shadow here. We'll have it go this way. And we'll drop the opacity. And we'll just make it softer. There we go. I don't like it that soft. Maybe about 15. There we go. Just kind of bring it down a bit. All right. Let's see, do I have... Ooh. Just bring a little bit of more light in the eyes. Just a little. Oh, what time is it? Okay, 6:13. I guess we can throw a little bit of light onto the teeth too. Oh, we gotta get off that layer, that's right. Yeah, the linear burn does not play well with white. All right. Okay, so Derek, let me see if I've got a picture of him to save myself some time. Him looking over his shoulder. Oh, in the meantime, if you guys would like to, if you just joined us, I had just gone over the plot and I started realizing that I won't have a lot of time to kind of work the plot in. So I'm debating how long it's going to take me to do this. So in the meantime, I'm going to go use the restroom and I'll go ahead and put on the video time-lapse replay and you guys can see how I created this layer. Alrighty. Okay, there we are. Alrighty. Okay, so let me do a quick wave here. I took a second and I did a quick search on a wave, so let's see if we can draw his hand waving. We'll bring this down. Actually, let's do it on another layer. That way I can erase things. Make sure that this is... Okay, there we go. Okay, make sure I'm constantly making sure that I'm on the right layer. I don't think I have room for a wave. Let's see, let's try. Could do maybe his hand more like this. I guess maybe in between. Nah, let's bump it. Keep going. This crap like that takes up time. Okay, so we're done with this one. Okay, so I was going to look to see if I've got a picture of Derek looking behind him. I wonder, can I use that? No, that looks more annoyed. This one's gorgeous. I might use that. Let me see what I've got with maybe I can recycle one of these. I like this face. I like this line, this toast. It's, here's to those who've seen us at our best and seen us at our worst and can't tell the difference. Okay, and then I can do the 3-finger sweep. We'll copy and see if that works. Gallery. And it will fix his eye so that it's not looking at that, but looking at them. Now I'm half tempted that when I get ready to do my condensing of the story, that I have the entity a little bit more, you can see it as it's getting stronger. It's almost like it's a cloud that hovers about him. But people can't see it. We see it, but nobody else can. Let's see, we'll make his eye kind of puff up a little bit like he's smiling. And then we'll make his hair a little bit more tousled. Oh, we forgot the thing. So you go to gallery, the headphone, right there. Okay, back to gallery. I hate that I don't have time to do like backgrounds. Whenever I'm like this, I'm zoomed in and I can't see anything, I just kind of squeeze until I see whatever it is that I need. And flip horizontal. All right. I'm going to merge that down so I have plenty of layers to work with. I'm happy where this person is, so I'm either going to leave it like it is or I'm going to merge it down, and I think I'll merge it. I'll leave it like it is for right now. I'll merge it down in a sec. Okay, so as long as I'm on his layer now, and I think I might have forgotten to add his shirt. No, I did. I added his shirt. Okay. Alrighty, so from here, just kind of do his shoulder. Need his jacket. Crock-a-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do. I wish this was in alphabetical order. I wonder if there's a way to put these in alphabetical order. Okay, this is why it's really good to name these, but Sassafras Shazanazin, I can't freaking find what I'm looking for. And I told myself I was going to put my commonly used ones. Croc was one of the first ones I created, so it should be way at the bottom under textures here. Wish I could make this thing brighter. Every now and then it gets dark like this. It's annoying. I wonder what causes that. Let me make sure this is still charging. Yes. It's probably because it's hot. I'm getting overheated. Come on, Croc, where art thou? Watch me pass it. Not Croc 2. I love the shiny squares. I think I named it Croc. There it is. I love you, Croc. Stop being so hard to find. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is going to be an easy one because it's the back of everybody's head. I want to make this a little more transparent so it's not as annoying. Okay. Alrighty, and then his hand. Yeah, try not to shy away from your hands. Find a good source image if you're really insecure about your fingers, like I am. I'm trying to think, how would he hold it? Like, I want him to hold it with, like, the two fingers here. Just a card that makes it kind of difficult to lose. I'll just no, not a finger like that. That looks like the middle finger. I want it kind of pinched in between two fingers. The other two are coming back. Awkward. Okay, now there's somebody's head right here. Now this is the person who is not passing yet in transition. So it's kind of like a let's see. Now I was looking for a man who is transitioning to female, and I found this. Like, some of these guys look absolutely gorgeous. It's like, wow, wow. I'm a cis female and I don't look half as good. I'm like, wow, look at this. So I'm thinking maybe this one, or this one, maybe, because I like the expression. But the point is to what? Gender trans, what? You got an ethnic transplant? What? I'm gonna have to look at this one. I can't resist. This is the shit that takes me. A gender transition. Dude, this is more than a gender transition. This is an ethnic change. You got an ethnic transplant. Wow. I wonder. That would, nah. Okay, it's them talking to each other. I'm like, really, dude? Y'all need more, you know, something. I'm like, dude, that's a freaking ethnic transplant. Gonna go. Okay, so, so I wanna. Dang, look at that. It's the makeup and the lighting that helps, but that's not bad. But I want a guy that's more guy than girl, just because they're using the money that they get from working there to fund the transition. This one's not too bad, but I want somebody of a different ethnicity. Maybe this one? I think this was more this character. Okay, alright. Maybe we look too similar. Okay. I'm not gonna sweat it. Just do it, Cam. Just do it. And you gotta remember, you're gonna have to do it again and again. Because you gotta show this person more than once. One last thing. This is 23 cisgender actors who played transgender in movies. They did a great job too. She looks like, what's his name? Matt Damon. I was always thinking that Hilary Swank looked like Matt Damon. Oh, they got Matt Damon in this. But yeah, so let me go ahead and keep going. We'll do this bottom panel here. I think I'll borrow this panel, duplicate it, bring it down this way. We'll flip it horizontal. That's about right. And then we'll erase. Let's see. Just erase that part. And we're going to fill this in. Erase this. Gonna give it more of a bend. Alrighty, with the neck. And we'll just kind of make shoulder blades and whatnot. Let's see, we'll just erase that part. And we'll just kind of follow my we wanted to look more at him and her. And we'll even bring the hair down just a little bit. Whoops, that's not hair. So you kind of have some coming down the nape of your neck. Let's see. Just do a simple paw. And I'll just kind of cut it off here at the end here. rectangle tool. Just kind of erase. Okay, and then we've got the counter in front of us. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool again and just okay, so the person I wanted to use was Jay. Holy crap. That's Vanessa Redgrave. You know, I was just happening to look at, there he is, Jay Davidson. He was beautiful in that movie. And for some reason I already knew he was a dude, but, you know, he even made me question. Okay, so this is 23 cisgender actors who play transgender in movies. And I've seen these two, but I don't remember this one. Maybe it was way too long. Makes me want to go watch these movies. She's a great actress. Karen Black, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Danger. I've heard of that one. John Lithgow, look at him. The World According to Garp. Yeah, I remember this movie. Freestyle wrestler, his mother, Jenny, of a shelter for abused women. I remember that movie. Never saw this one. Crying Game I saw. I didn't really understand it at the time. Sean Young. She's awesome. Terrence Stamp, I remember that. Wow. I actually thought that was a woman. Yeah, I don't know. It's the way, I guess, some women age. Felicity Huffman. Oh yeah, she looks like a dude. What was it? Transamerica. I can't remember if I saw that or not. That's Cillian Murphy? What? Breakfast on Pluto. He's effing amazing as a woman. Look at him. Holy crap. He looks like Sansa. Sofia Vergara. Was she playing a dude? Transgender woman starts and ends with Ray Romano's character deciding against sleeping with Lori upon discovering she was born male. Bump it, you only live once. That was a weird movie. I think I only watched it for the title. The Skin I Live In. I gotta read this on my own. Oh, look at Glenn Close, holy shit. She looks like that dude, she looks like, Eddie Redmayne. Yeah, that's what his name was. Let's see. He's right. Sorry about the scrolling. She looks like him. Anyway, Jay Davidson was the name I was looking for. But now I'm curious. That's Jared Lee. No way, that was Benedict Now I've got to watch this movie. I'm a Cumber bitch. No way. That's Michelle Rodriguez. Get the fuck out of here. This looks good. No. Oh, he looks freaking good. What does he look like? Not Marco Kidder. God, he looks so much like another woman, famous actress. Okay, and that's it. Never heard of this person. Anyway, I digress. So I'm going to look for Jay Davidson real quick, and I want that person to be the other person that works here, the maid. Not trying to be like whatever, but I want this person to use this job as the means to their end. There we go. Plus it gives me a chance to draw curly hair. Let's see. Go back. Let's see. Damn, that's wrong. Crying game. There we go. Alright, so I used the same brush as I use for everybody. This one here is the short hair brush. And this one here is going to be the fine hairbrush, and I use that for him, her, and this person. And I think I'll put this person right here. Turn off that. Baby, it's you. You're the one I love. I'm just doing a squiggly line. Make it big and just kind of vary them. And then I'm going to take the short hair brush and I'm going to use right here, and I'm just going to kind of smudge it. Let's see, it can't hurt to give them, come on you, a little bit of a barrier. I don't like using black. Cute. There we go. That way white can still be a highlight for that. And I'll just merge these guys down. And then I'll just kind of, oops, switch it back to fine hair. Switch it back to black. Just gives it texture. Okay. Not caring so much about the back of that person's head, but I do care about the back of this person's head. Just a smidge. We'll just kind of blend that a bit. And come back with black. Okay. Looks like I need to fix his collar just a bit. I use Croc. Yes, it's still selected. Oops. And when I get a little too dark, I'm just going to add like little touches of light. Okay. Grab a little bit of his skin tone. Fix his paw here. And then the same tone of the VIP. Go to favorite skins, and for giggles, let's use this one, and then we'll kind of soften it. Maybe I might make it. I'm making really good progress on here. It helps to have the thumbnails to guide me. Bring that down some. Erase. There we go. Oh, and the eraser tool also acts as the shape tool. So like, you know, like you can make a line with a brush. Oops. You know, like you can make a line with one of these bad boys and it makes a square like that. Well, you can do the same thing with the eraser tool. So you have the eraser tool, and say I just need to erase a square. It'll make a square shape. Ink. And it erases in a square. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that. We live and we learn. throw a little bit more shadow on him. Bring it down to about 15. Okay, and we can do that other places too. Whoops. Reset. He's pretty well done. Maybe the other side. Yeah. Let's see, we'll do just make it a little bit more subtle. We'll just give it a little bit of light on him. Okay, good enough for cover work. Alright, whoops. I'm just going to bring a little bit of the, oops. I'm going to merge these guys all down, at least right here. And just kind of soften this a little bit. Make it look like it's in motion. That's too dark. Bring this. I'm just going to get rid of some of these lines here by just kind of smudging them. Alright, so now we're done with this one, and we can throw some text in there. Edit style, Jack Armstrong, bring that down. All right. So I think I'll move the lodge over so that the text doesn't get in the way. Gotta get on that layer. Okay, so thought balloons or speech balloons, I just finally decided to do just a selection and then just kind of fill it in any color besides white, especially if I have to have, because I don't like doing outlines. Let's see, we'll use that color, maybe a little lighter. There we go. And then, whoops. Okay, and I can move that if I want to, but we'll leave that just the way it is. It's fine. Make sure the words are positioned nicely in between. I will thank you, Mr. Clay. Your room is ready. Instead of recreating the wheel, I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring it down. When it's in this state here where it can be, you know, with the arrow tool, you can't edit the text. So you want to deselect that and then tap into it again, and then you can edit the text. There we go. And I can always reuse this balloon. Let's see. And flip it horizontal. Make it smaller. Just to make sure that it stays within the balloon. There we go. All right. If you don't want to go around the fingers, you can always put your colors on a different layer. Let's see. But me, I don't give a rat's ass. Oops, on the wrong layer. Well, I don't care. I'm going to merge everybody together anyway. Let's see. Let me reselect it. Nope. Get on another layer anyway. That way, if I need to edit my words, like maybe I misspelled something, I can always come back and fix it. Okay, this is really good progress. I've done 2 pages so far. 2 times 13. No, not enough. Well, I could get 30 pages done. Maybe. Maybe not. At this rate, we'll see. I want to keep my story the same, so I'm just going to have to book it. Alright, just making sure I got everything covered. Like where you see the white, I don't want that. No, not the fine hair, short hair. We'll bring it back to black. There we go. Just kind of hide that layer. All right, and then I go into the highlights just a little bit so they're not glaringly white, and maybe add a few more. Lovely. Okay. Alright. I keep thinking that this shirt definitely needs something. I'm just like texture crazy. The background needs something. Let's see. It's just so white. Everything's just so white. I'm going to go ahead and merge those together, and I can, I'll just leave it like it is. Okay, so there we are. We'll do a little computer screen in front of her down here, or them down here. Oops. Rectangle tool. Let's see. Not on the right. Not on the right layer. I want a whole nother layer. There we go. And I want it behind. Crap. Because it's layered. Because it's the way it is. I'd have to cut this one. Not a problem. Oops, not like that though. Let's see, we'll take another tone. Or we'll just go ahead and erase the computer screen off her body here. Okay. And then for giggles, I'm going to grab the lodge here and put that on the screen. Rats, I was hoping that it would show up. Oh well, not important. All right. Okay. Another page down. Okay. Do-do-do-do-do. La, 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 la. Okay, so I got 20 minutes. Alright, so I've got some faces already set up. Excuse me. Alright. I don't think this is going to work. Okay, so let's do this. I need to fill that with her tone. Whoops. I hate when I'm still stuck on the same. We'll use this one. Okay, now we can see the face. Maybe it might work. Let's see, I'll deselect that, merge it down, bring it over here. Yeah, I guess that could work. Move it down a little bit. Her shoulder's about like right there, but okay. We'll make this transparent. Your face might be a little too wide for what I want to do here. Okay, so for some reason the music's not playing. Play more. Play, damn you. I need something with a little bit more bump in it. Bump, bump, bump. Okay. Don't want to obscure her face too much. It'd be cool if I could finish like 10 pages a day. That would be killer. And have them still look good. Sometimes I gotta tap it and just stay on it, make sure that it's changed over. I think the claw should lunge at her. Let's see, I should raise her eyes up a little bit, make them a little bit more buggy. Alrighty, so I got like 10 minutes left. You know, when it comes to teeth, you don't want to overwork them. Just toss them in there. Just the hint of it goes a lot farther than if you overwork them and put too much crap on them, liquid and whatnot. All right. Okay, so we are terrified of that monster that I had worked on yesterday. Let's see, I should have the blanket that she's got around her. We'll have it clutched in her hands. Oops. We want to give those shadows linear burn treatment. Let's see, I forgot how low I got it. About 15 is fine. Yeah, 14 is cool. I wish there was a way to make it more accurate. Want shadows under her nose. On the side of her face. We'll merge it down, and then we'll blend it. Gotta make these lines make sense. Kind of smudging. I apologize, I haven't been in the chat. And there's nobody here, so there's no worries. No worries. But if you guys have any questions or anything, you can always leave it for me in the comments. I will catch the comments. It sends me a message, and I will know if you said something. You guys, thank you so much for the compliments. Definitely send me some good luck that I can finish this in time. I know I'm like maybe making a little bit more drama out of it than I can, but I'm just looking at some of the other stuff that I've done, and it's taken forever to get this far as I have. I've had several days off, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting any more. You know, other people want to go on vacation too. Can't hog up all the days. But if I'm lucky, maybe they might let me on a slow day, try to get ahead. But I don't want to push it. Okay. So let's see. We'll throw some text in there. Bring this down. Okay. And then, crap, 3 minutes. All right, you guys. I gotta get out of here too. So, let me see. For giggles, let's go ahead and light this face up. This is gonna be the face of horror that I'm gonna use for her, I think. That's not too bad. Let me see. Let me flip it horizontal. Yeah, I wish it was more facing forward, but that's okay. Oops. Alright. You gotta deselect or else it'll leave a line. And line's not good. Alrighty. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you in the next video. And hopefully we can whip out another 3 or 4 pages. That would be fabulous. That would definitely give me faith or hope that I can get through these pages. I'm going to go ahead and do a count to see how many I absolutely have to keep this story. And maybe even go through and see how many I can eliminate in order to keep the story. Alright, you guys, I will see you on the morrow. Again, thank you for joining me. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and you see how the story turns out. Or just go ahead and hit it up on Webtoons. The object, it's in the description if you're curious. All right, you guys, leave me a little bit of loving there on Webtoons. That way, the judges can see that there's interaction and there's interest. Okay, take care, you guys. Bye bye.